Hello, Aobor, Uchiha, Rose Gold Lotus, and the couple of subscribers that will actually watch this video. Welcome to another Days of Future Past video, where I, your host, Nazi534, will take you through a rousing explanation of the world and its many, many mysteries. Okay, I may not actually do that, but sure as hell feels like we're doing it. So on this episode, Uchiha and Robor both asked questions, and I think Rose Gold Lotus will eventually start asking her own. And, oh well, until that happens, that'll happen when it happens, I guess. So, Uchiha's question is, what ultimately brought us together? And Awobor's question is, what is my opinion on the other people in our small group of friends? Our four-man group of friends. So I'll answer Uchiha's question first. What ultimately brought us together? So, let's see, we met each other in middle school, but before then, I think what ultimately made me want to stick around with these guys, because I went through friends like fucking toothpaste. Okay, that may not be a good analogy. What's something that you go through really fast, like milk? I went through friends like milk. God damn it. In New York, which is where I used to live, I had a couple of friends. One of them's name was Wally, the other one was John. Now, I do remember treating John like an absolute jerk, even though he was the nicest, most loyal person that I have ever met, and if it wasn't for just how badly I treated him, I probably wouldn't have ever resolved to become a better friend in the future. But other than that, Wally was a great kid. I made friends with these guys, and I eventually had to leave. Whatever. Life happens. But I just didn't bother to keep in contact with them. I don't know why. I just didn't bother doing it. Maybe at the time it wasn't the first thing that was on my mind, or whatever. But I move over to Richfield, make friends with my neighbors, who were maybe not the best of people. They were very shallow. Trevor, he was the only one who I probably resonated with the most, because he liked games overall. I mean, he liked playing video games more than he liked doing skating or skateboarding or any of the other things that we kind of did as fads changed. Eventually, I had to leave them, and I tried keeping in contact with them a little bit. It didn't work, because after high school ended, they moved out to college, so I couldn't keep in contact with them. Ooh, excuse me. I don't know if you heard that, but I just burped. It probably sounded like vomit was welling up in my throat and I was about to puke. Or not. Whatever. So I move over to Eagan now, and in the 5th grade, I met two kids, Tanner and Cameron. Made friends with them. They were pretty great friends. Funny, hilarious, like playing Pokemon. But eventually they moved. So I just didn't keep in contact with them. And eventually in 6th grade, the first friend that I met was Jimmy. He was a nice guy. Liked playing Pokemon as well. I mean, at this point, Pokemon was basically my go-to. You like playing Pokemon? Yeah, so do I. Let's be friends. That was essentially how I made friends in middle school. And that's, I think, how I met Donnie as well. So, that'll come later. So Jimmy then eventually has to move, and I got his phone number, tried calling him. I called him once, he picks up, we talk, we hang, do stuff, but it's not like we can schedule, a time to hang out and talk with each other and, be together. So eventually that just, he falls off the face of the existence, and never really contacted him after that. I hope he's doing well, though. He was a good kid. Hope John's doing well as well. He was a good kid, too. But then, Uchiha, there, I met him. I think he was playing Pokemon under the table. And I was like, dude, is that Pokemon? Awesome. I like playing Pokemon, too. Let's be friends. And he was like, alright, let's be friends. So we started hanging out, and then in 7th grade, I shit you not, I believed at the time, when I first met a Warbor, he was talking about anime. And at the time, I was watching Full Metal Alchemist, which was something that he was talking about. I was watching it on Adult Swim. I couldn't stay up late enough to watch it, so what I did was I just went to sleep at an extremely early time so that I can wake up at 3 a.m. to watch Full Metal Alchemist. But he was talking about it, and I was like, dude, that show's awesome. And he was like, get the fuck out of here, you poser. Well, I don't think he said that, but I think he was like kind of skeptical at first. Maybe he thought I was a poser in some and he didn't really like me. But then I think Uchiha came along and was like, dude, this guy's cool. And he was like, okay, this guy's cool. So then we became friends, and they were pretty much like the closest circle of friends I had going through middle school. And then high school came around, and eventually I go off to do like my honors track, doing honors type classes, and I feel like we're moving apart from each other. I couldn't, like, because Awarbor, he's doing his stuff, and I think he had more classes with Uchiha than I did. And of course, being honors, they of course didn't do that stuff. So I basically was left on my own in honors, and I felt like we were moving apart from each other. And the same thing that happened with all of my other friends, all of the other close friends that I made in the past, was going to happen again. And I was like, no, I don't want this to happen. I don't want to lose these guys. So I had concocted a plan to get us together to solidify our bond, so to speak. It was YouTube, because I knew we all liked watching Psychedelic Snake and Vash12349 and all other YouTubers and Let's Players. We liked their humor and their commentary, and I kind of want to be just like them as well. So what I did was I went out, got a computer. I didn't. I asked my parents, of course, Christmas time. Like, Dad, can I get a computer? Made sure to ask my dad, because my mom likes to do this shit where she likes to take things away from my sister and myself because she says that she paid for them. And I made sure that my dad, I got my dad to pay for the computer, because if my mom did, as soon as the one that was downstairs went bust, she would have been like, give me that computer. I bought it. It's mine. I'm like, oh, hell no, this is Dad's money. This ain't your money. But I did get her to get the Pinnacle and the microphone, because there's no way she would use either one of those things. Anyways, that's how the first video got up on Christmas. I was like, I'm so excited, I'm gonna make this video. Boom! Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World. And then I eventually got a Warbor and Uchiha, to be there with me, commentate with me, and, things went rolling from there, and AUendo Pro got formed. And so that was my devious plan to get us to stick together and to keep in contact with each other. It gave us more than just incentive to give us more of an incentive to hang out. So I think that's the end of that question. Next is, what is my opinion of the other guys? And a Warbor, you are the most quick-witted and free individual I have ever met. You say things that come to your mind easily, and you do it fluently as well. You don't really stumble on your words as much as I do. I kind of wish I had that quick response rate that you do. I fumble over my words. I have to think carefully about what I have to say, or otherwise it comes out in ums, uhs, and stutters. And I don't say the words as clearly as everyone else. And you're also confident. You are charismatic, and you have fun even when other people would have been broken by whatever is happening. You're just a fun guy to be around, and I like having you in my life. Though sometimes, whenever we get into philosophical debates and questions, I feel like sometimes you just don't understand what I say. Like, what is the point of living? I know you kind of get on edge with that question, and you had that opinion. You were saying that, well, there was times when I thought, oh no, Harvey, are you gonna do that thing that I think you're? No. When I asked when I ask something like that, like, what is the point of living? That's just more of, like, why am I living? You know, not like, oh no, everything's shit, why should I continue to go on? No, just like, you know, why am I doing this? What's the point? It's not that I'm gonna stop everything and, you know, end it all. It's just, I'm just wondering aloud, I guess. And I think that kind of sums up my opinion of you. There's plenty more, but this video can only be so long, right? Uchiha, you are the most hilarious individual I've ever met. Back in 6th grade, you just made me laugh like crazy. You're you're just so much fun to be around as well. The both of you, you guys were so similar. You just fucking comedy duo, I swear. Like you guys were brothers in a past life. And you are extremely well liked. You have a lot, like everybody loves you. Everybody does. And sometimes I do get kind of jealous of that kind of attention. I wish people would pay, you know, just the slightest bit of attention to me. You know, just at least to ask my opinion about something, but instead, you know, I'm kind of just like the background ornament to everything. But I'm not sure if I would even like that kind of attention. And you do said that you were kind of introverted, but I do recall in middle school that I think that's when you kind of blossomed into becoming a more popular person, because middle school I definitely knew you were like amicable with pretty much everybody, but you are pretty stubborn. I I feel like stubbornness might not be an entirely bad trait, personally, but I feel for yourself that there's so many things that you might actually enjoy, or some many potentials and possibilities that could be opened to you if you just step outside of your safe box every once in a while. If you just take a toe and test the waters a little bit, you might be surprised to see what you can find. And I want to see you. I want to see you do, you know, something like to take the possibility and open up those options to you. I want to see how far you'll go. I want you to succeed, boy. And I also do feel sometimes that there's something under all of that, under your amicableness, all your it's not amicableness, you're like a facade. Sometimes that there's a thing under there. I don't think that you could not express properly, or maybe you just don't want to say to us. I mean, that's fine to have secrets, but like I think there's something under there that maybe you just don't know how to express properly. You know, like an opinion, like whenever we're having philosophical debates, you say something that's rather short and maybe not all that fleshed out, and I feel like if you flesh it out a little bit more, we can come to, you know, understand. Like you could be just as intelligent or as thoughtful as a Warbor and I when we do our little debates of philosophy. I think you can contribute just as much if you just kind of flesh out what you have to say. You know? Anyways, Rose Gold Lotus. Now, we've only known each other maybe like a year, and I know some of your friends from my college, like Eric. I think that's it, honestly. But you know, that small world, isn't it? But you know, my opinion of you is rather small. But I mean, you are funny. You're definitely a lot like a female Alex. And since you are a little bit older than us, you have a lot more experience under your belt than we do. I feel kind of like you're like the older sister. That sort of thing. Anyways, I think now would be the time when I ask my question. And mine would be, how different would your life be if a Warbor, Uchiha, myself, if we, or Rose Gold Lotus, if all of us had never met? If life had just, you know, somehow decided that I should stay in New York, and Uchiha Maybe if your parents decided to take a job overseas and they decided to take you with, or a war, if your parents just decided to stay in Minneapolis. You know, how different would our lives be if we never met? And I think for myself, I probably would have kept falling into a spiral of making friends and then losing friends over and over again until eventually I just decided to give up. And I'd just be forever alone. I'd have no real close friends. I'd be the, loser in class that has no friends, sits in the back, but despite that, has extremely great grades, because there's one thing that I would still not change at all, regardless if I had met you guys or not, and that would have just been academia. I would have just kept pursuing that, I suppose. So I'd be an extremely smart loser with no friends. I probably wouldn't even consider leaving my family, to be honest, because at that point, that would have been the only connection that I have to a good social life, even though it is kind of fucked. But that would have been the only one that I had. So I think that's how different my life would have been. I'm curious to see how different your lives would have been. Alright, anyways, thank you for watching, and live fast, die hard, and try to rub moist bagels on your nipples. I don't know why, but apparently it's quite enjoyable.